A clip of Monique's fiery roast of Shannon Sharpe has gone viral, and sources close to him are saying he's upset, feeling let down by his celebrity friends who he expected to have his back. Instead, he's facing public ridicule. However, fans are quick to point out that Monique had actually warned Shannon months ago during an appearance on Club Shay. She cautioned him about his habit of pursuing younger women who seem more interested in his wealth than him. Sharpe dismissed Monique's warning when she called him out months ago, but now his reputation is in serious jeopardy. Even if he wins the lawsuit, it won't be enough to undo the damage. His $100 million podcast deal is hanging by a thread. Sponsors are retreating, and even his closest friends are starting to distance themselves. So what exactly did Monique say that turned out to be spot on? And why is Shannon so angry with her when she was only trying to help? Let's unpack this. Monique has made it clear she doesn't think Shannon Sharpe needs to be involved with young women, no matter their age. While many were shocked by the recent rape lawsuit against Shannon, Monique wasn't one of them. She had warned him months ago that this kind of drama could unfold if he continued to chase after younger women. But Shannon brushed off her advice. After the lawsuit involving the OnlyFans model gained attention, fans eagerly waited to hear Monique's thoughts. She finally addressed it during a show on Cat Williams' Heaven on Earth comedy tour. In her remarks, she reminded everyone that she had tried to warn Shannon, but he wasn't interested in listening. Monique's words echoed what many others were thinking. Shannon brought this upon himself. Monique went as far as to say, "Yes, I told that Sharpe leave that white alone," referencing her earlier advice to Shannon. For context, a clip from a February 2024 interview with Monique on Club Shay resurfaced online shortly after the news broke about the lawsuit. In the clip, Monique had told Shannon he should stop dating women half his age or younger, and instead, focus on finding someone closer to his own age, someone who wouldn't be after his wealth. Monique didn't hold back when she offered Shannon Sharpe some tough love, saying, "You don't need no 26-year-old girl. You don't need no 36-year-old girl. This is your auntie talking to you." She went on, advising him to find someone more his age who could love him properly instead of trying to keep up with younger women. Her humor was sharp as she explained how, at his age, he might be struggling to keep up in the bedroom, joking that after the 4th round, he'd be asking for a break and some Starbucks money. But with an older woman, Monique said, he'd get an entirely different kind of support, maybe some eggs, cheese, and toast with apple butter to recharge his energy. She even introduced a fictional Miss Elladora into the conversation, a wise, older woman who knew how to take care of him. The image was playful, but Monique's message was serious. Stop chasing young women who only want you for your money, and find someone who understands you. Monique's blunt style has always been divisive. Some fans admire her honesty, while others think she comes across too harsh. But in this case, even those who don't usually agree with her are admitting she had it right. Monique's warning was clearly aimed at Shannon, urging him to change his ways before it all backfired. But instead of listening, Shannon just laughed it off and continued his pursuit of OnlyFans models. Now, a year later, his career is in turmoil. He's lost his ESPN gig and could be facing a hefty financial burden from the lawsuit. Looking back, people are saying Monique saw the red flags long before anyone else did. One fan put it perfectly, saying, "One thing about Monique, she can tell a joke but won't tell a lie. Shannon Baldhead should have listened instead of laughing. Now look at you about to be crying all the way to the bank." Another fan chimed in, "Shannon Sharpe deserves what happened to him. I don't know what his friends were telling him, but he had at least 3 guests on his show who warned him about his poor dating choices. Cat Williams, Monique, and Lil Yachty all gave him the same advice." Despite the fallout from the lawsuit and the loss of his ESPN job, Shannon doesn't seem to have learned his lesson. Sources close to him are revealing that he was furious when Monique used his legal drama as material for her comedy routine. It seems Shannon is upset that Monique is making light of his troubles, and he was expecting his celebrity friends to defend him. However, almost no one came forward to vouch for his character, which says a lot. People aren't feeling sorry for him, as this lawsuit seems to be the final chapter in a long history of reckless choices. Shannon Sharpe has been making headlines for all the wrong reasons lately, and new incidents are only adding fuel to the fire, revealing more of his true character. One clip that's quickly going viral shows Shannon losing his cool during the April 30th episode of Nightcap. While discussing the 2025 NFL Draft, Shannon suddenly snapped, yelling off camera, but that wasn't the only controversial moment." Shannon also faced backlash for his comments about his daughter's wedding budget. In a different Nightcap episode, Shannon shared that he wouldn't allow any of his daughter's weddings to exceed $30,000. Keep in mind, this is the same man who reportedly offered an OnlyFans model $10 million to avoid a lawsuit. While discussing how much they'd spend on their kids' weddings, Shannon jokingly said that for his daughters, $30,000 would be the limit, and even suggested they could serve spaghetti and fried catfish instead of more expensive food options. "Gave my daughters a budget. You got a budget? I don't get what number you do after that. What number? 30,000? Okay. So, you can have a wedding with $30,000. I don't know what you can have. I ain't the one getting married. I don't give a damn." Then he added, "Y'all from the South, y'all know about that fried catfish and spaghetti plate. I know somebody who could hook that thing right on up. What they charge? About $10.50 a head. Spaghetti, fried catfish, a piece of cornbread, and a styrofoam cup of sweet tea. That's all you're getting, man. I'm not going just 'cause they dead. Oh, hell no, man. I wish I might." As expected, fans quickly started dragging Shannon for these comments. They pointed out the irony, especially after leaked texts revealed that the OnlyFans model he's involved with was allegedly charging him $25,000 for each cheek. One fan expressed that the recent revelations were necessary to expose how much of a hypocrite Shannon Sharpe really is. They said, "He lost the little respect he had left for others. Now he's willing to give an ex-worker millions of dollars. But his own daughter gets just $30,000 for her wedding. And it doesn't stop there." Fans are also criticizing Shannon for allegedly engaging in a race play fetish relationship with the OnlyFans model Gabriella after their leaked texts revealed some troubling, racially charged exchanges. In the messages, Gabriella told Shannon that she wanted him to put a big black baby in her. While Shannon didn't share his part of the conversation, fans are speculating that this entire situation may have been initiated by him. After all, Gabriella is a paid professional, and it's likely she was simply complying with Shannon's requests. One fan even shared their theory, stating, "Clearly, in my opinion, this whole race rhetoric in those text messages started with him. It's becoming more and more clear to me that he has a race fetish, that he has a fetish for that type of dynamic." The speculation continues to grow as fans are left questioning Shannon's actions and the implications of his relationship with Gabriella. When you think about it, the situation with Shannon Sharpe and the 19-year-old woman he met makes you wonder. It's hard to imagine a young white woman at that age casually talking about wanting a big black baby or baby gravy. Now, Shannon, a 54-year-old grown man from rural Georgia, is a whole different story. The term gravy seems more like something he'd be familiar with, considering his upbringing in the backwoods of Georgia. It's likely he's seen and experienced things that might have influenced this situation, but it's tough to believe that these kinds of comments came from her. Yes, Gabriella repeated these statements in their texts, but we've only seen her part of the conversation, not his. People are pointing out that he chose to release her messages, leaving out his responses. If those messages ever come to light, it's likely we'll see that the race-related comments started with him. Fans suspect that Shannon's behavior might stem from a deep-rooted fetish, and the only way it could have played out was with a younger woman. An older woman, as Monique warned him, wouldn't entertain this kind of behavior. She would have immediately recognized it for what it was, something offbeat and strange. This whole situation has caused a lot of fans to distance themselves from Shannon's show. Many viewers have expressed their discomfort with Shannon constantly, bringing up his personal and often strange experiences in the bedroom, especially for someone nearing 60. It's a turnoff for many, and it's clear that his personal choices are beginning to overshadow his professional ones. Dr. Umar and other industry figures are now questioning Shannon Sharpe's decisions, especially when it comes to his involvement with a 19-year-old. They argue that regardless of whether the lawsuit is a shakedown or not, Shannon should have known better. Dr. Umar pointed out that even if the lawsuit isn't legitimate, Shannon should have seen the warning signs when Gabriella allegedly refused to sign an NDA, non-disclosure agreement. According to Dr. Umar, This should have been a major red flag. If a young woman, especially one who's involved with a celebrity, refuses to sign an NDA, it indicates that she's prepared to expose the situation if things go south. Shannon reportedly met Gabriela Zuniga at a gym in Los Angeles around 2023, and they hit it off. However, when Shannon tried to have her sign an NDA, a standard practice for celebrities engaging with others, she declined. For Dr. Umar and others, that's where Shannon should have ended things. The refusal to sign the NDA, they argue, shows she wasn't playing by the rules and could be setting herself up to publicly share details if things went wrong. Moreover, there's a deeper critique of Shannon's choices. Dr. Umar suggests that Shannon has a clear preference for Caucasian women, particularly very slim ones, which some fans have pointed out in the images circulating online of Gabriela. It's all adding fuel to the fire, with people criticizing Shannon for his lack of judgment and for continuing to pursue relationships that raise eyebrows, especially considering his status as a public figure. There are more unsettling allegations swirling around Shannon Sharpe, particularly regarding his past behavior and preferences. Some have pointed out that Gabriela Zuniga, the woman he was involved with, appears to have the body of a young teenager, with some saying she looks like a 13 or 14-year-old. Allegedly, Shannon even told her that if she lost enough weight, he'd be more interested in her. This has raised further questions about his preferences and the nature of his relationships. Despite all the controversies, Shannon's financial success remains impressive. Celebrity Net Worth estimates his fortune at around $30 million, with a significant chunk coming from his NFL career. He earned $22.5 million over his time with the NFL, with his largest payday coming from a $5 million deal with the Baltimore Ravens. These days, Shannon reportedly brings in about $10 million annually through a combination of media work, brand partnerships, his podcast, and his luxury cognac brand, Lortier. However, despite these impressive figures, Shannon is still behind his former First Take co-host, Stephen A. Smith, whose net worth stands at $45 million. Stephen A. recently made headlines with his new 5-year, $100 million contract, placing him among the highest-paid sports analysts, just behind Tom Brady. In a recent interview, Stephen A. confirmed the rumors about his contract, saying, "Your ESPN contract, yes sir, is up next year. And the word on the street is that you want something in the range of $100 million for 5 years, right? True. It ain't false." Shannon Sharpe, known for his bold and unapologetic attitude, has always been clear about his ambitions. In a recent interview, he openly stated, "I always want as much money as I can get. I'm not going to apologize for that. I'm a capitalist." He emphasized that people should take a closer look at the industry, comparing the revenue, ratings, and value that others bring to the table before passing judgment. He is confident in his worth, and rightfully so, given his success in the media world. Before the lawsuit with Gabriela Zuniga came into play, Shannon was on the brink of landing a major deal that could have exceeded $100 million. Reports indicate that Shannon was in discussions for a massive podcast deal, which would have included all of his shows under Shay Media, such as Club Shay, Nightcap with Chad Johnson, Club 520 Podcast, The Bubba Dub Show, and Humble Baddies. The deal seemed almost certain, with Front Office Sports reporting on April 18th that it was expected to be finalized just days before the lawsuit was filed. However, that deal is now in limbo, and its future is uncertain. If it falls through, it could be a huge setback for Shannon, adding even more pressure as the lawsuit continues to loom over him. The situation surrounding Shannon Sharpe is undeniably complex, and while there's still uncertainty regarding the outcome of the lawsuit, the damage to his reputation may already be irreparable. Fans and critics alike are questioning whether he's financially prepared for a potential $50 million payout. While it's true that civil lawsuits, particularly those involving sexual assault, can be difficult to win, especially when the boundaries between consensual and non-consensual behavior are murky, the stakes for Shannon remain high. If Gabriela's case is unsuccessful, she may not receive the $50 million she's demanding. But even if Shannon manages to avoid a payout, the fallout from this situation goes beyond the courtroom. The audio and text messages that have surfaced, including Shannon threatening Gabriela, have already tainted his image in a way that cannot be easily erased. The threatening tone in his voice and the content of those messages have left an indelible mark on his public persona. Regardless of the legal outcome, the damage to Shannon's public image is profound. Even if he's not found legally responsible, the perception of his actions behind closed doors will linger. It's no longer just about what happens in the court of law. It's about the perception of his character and the trust people have, or no longer have, in him. The real cost for Shannon Sharpe, as you've pointed out, is the potential damage to his public image and his ability to secure future opportunities. It's not just about winning or losing in court. It's about how his name is now trending for all the wrong reasons. Companies like Disney, which own major platforms like ESPN, care deeply about public opinion and how their brands are perceived. In this case, Shannon has become a liability, and even if he's legally clear, the damage done by the headlines and public perception could make it hard for him to secure high-profile partnerships in the future. As for his potential to bounce back, it's certainly possible. People love a good redemption arc, and Shannon has a strong following. However, his path to recovery is undeniably harder now. He's ignored advice from figures like Monique and Cat Williams, and his involvement with the young OnlyFans model has opened up a can of worms that will be difficult to close. The age gap, power dynamics, and the racial fetishism aspect are all factors that will continue to be scrutinized. Brands like Disney would likely want to distance themselves from anything that could be seen as controversial or damaging to their reputation. As for Monique, it seems like her comments, while they may come off as mocking, are rooted in her previous warnings to Shannon. In a way, it could be seen as a form of, "I told you so." She tried to give him guidance, and now that he's in this mess, it's hard not to view her jokes as fair game. She might be playing the role of the realist, reminding everyone of the situation's complexities while also underscoring that she had warned him. In the end,